Hi, happy Monday. I hope everybody's having a fabulous day today. So I am home from work and about to get started on dinner. Oh, my phone is beeping at me. I wanted to hop on because of a comment that somebody had posted underneath the picture that I posted today of a place that Jesse and I went and saw, a venue, which is just absolutely beautiful. It gave us all the really good feelings about the place. And one of the questions was a totally legit question. Why is it that you would want to move forward and work on the wedding process and get married if you're still having, still working through the divorce process? It's a fair question. I totally understand. My response was that I've met the love of my life, and I could not be happier to marry Jesse. The one thing in my life that I am absolutely positively sure of is walking down the aisle and saying I do to spend the rest of my life with him. That makes me happy just thinking about it, and I can't wait. So I understand the question, though. If you're getting on Facebook and you're crying into the camera about how it's hard for you to get up every day and function sometimes because of everything that's happened in your life, especially with the divorce and whatnot, why are you even thinking about getting married again? I get it. I think something too that I didn't really get to process or express in the video that I posted the other day is what exactly about the feelings that I'm having regarding my divorce and whatnot, what exactly I'm thinking about on a day-to-day basis or at different times that makes me so upset and angry. And it is interesting, before I get into that, how many people that after I posted that, or after I post several different videos, but especially this last one that I posted, I don't know that I've ever got a bigger response from that video as I did, the other day. It is shocking to me, when you think you're alone and you're the only one, how many people reach out to me and said, I've been married for 10 years, or I've been remarried now for 15 years, and I still think about it. Or I still have, those trigger moments of something happening or something being brought up that brings back a memory or a thing. I don't really know what the process is, and I don't want to put my life on hold because of it either. My life is going on, and I'm trying to collect the pieces as I go, make sense of them. I also had a friend of mine who reached out to me right after that video too and said, and I know that she's been divorced for quite some time and remarried and has kids, and told me that she thinks about it every day. So I know it may seem to some of you who are also have been divorced, but and you weren't ready to take those steps in your life before you were feeling, totally stress-free about it or whatever the case may be. But I think for all of us, it's a totally different situation. So anyway, going back to those things that I'm thinking about, some of the stuff I think about on a regular basis leading up to this wedding process is kind of how I got gypped in my first one. And then it kind of makes me angry thinking about my ex-husband and or my wedding situation previous. Not everybody was really excited when I got married the first time. I think we've talked about this before too. We were very young and it happened very fast. So our families weren't, they put on a really good front, but I know that they weren't really that excited about the process. And then I also got pregnant before we got married too. That was another big bombshell that we dropped for everybody. So, the whole really exciting, people jump for joy and get really excited for you, that didn't happen the first time around. But I did have the big wedding and I had all the showers and, we did all the things you were supposed to do. But it just wasn't the ideal. So now here we are in this setting, right? And I'm getting married and I get to do it again. And for this time, I get to do it with the love of my life, and I can't wait. And it's disheartening sometimes to get those responses of, oh, are you guys gonna like have a wedding? I mean, no, right? You're just gonna like go get married? No, we're gonna have a wedding, and it's gonna be great, and we can't wait. Thanks for your support. You know, it's kind of like you did it once already, so this time around just really isn't a big deal. Now, for some people, they don't want a wedding. They don't want a whole thing. I did it. I don't care. I don't want to spend the money. I don't want to do the time. I just want it to be him and I, or her and I, and we're just going, we're getting over with. Great. You know, some people don't love the big show of the big wedding. It wasn't necessarily for us that we needed it to be big, but it needed to be special. And our special is different from somebody else's special. And, but sometimes it's disheartening to hear the people around you talk to you, and kind of like bring it down a little bit, you know, like you're wanting to be way up here and everybody else is kind of like, oh, you know, just go to the courthouse, get it over with. And that's hard, you know, because I kind of feel like I got gypped the first time, and kind of makes you feel like you get gypped this time too. So, you know, Jesse makes everything special for me. So I'm not worried about how I'm going to feel that day or during the process when I'm with him. But it is a little saddening when you don't get all of that from the other people around you. So that's something that I think about. You know, I would hate to, you know, for anybody out there to think that, well, if you're still struggling with a breakup, then why are you moving on to another relationship? That's not necessarily the case. So, well, that isn't the case. Not necessarily. It's not. It's not missing of my ex-husband and, you know, being sad that we're not together anymore. It's not that. You know, it's everything else goes along with it. And for some of you who've been divorced, you totally understand. And maybe for some other of you who have been divorced but didn't have any of those feelings afterwards, this also may be very foreign to you too, and you don't really understand why anybody could still be talking about it years later, or when their happily ever after has already happened. A lot of people think because I've met Jesse that my life is just great again. And there is no aftermath of the process at all. I can't imagine that, you know, when you lose someone in your life, and sometimes they talk about divorce as like a grieving process. When you lose someone in your life, I'm sure you still think about that person during holidays or something that reminds you of them. And it may bring back a little of that sadness or missing that person. Now, I may not miss the person, but it does, you know, bring you back to certain memories or certain times or certain things that you were a family. And now you're not that family anymore. And that can still be hurtful and can be hard. That doesn't mean I can't go on and create a new family and move forward in my life, but still be a little sad that these things didn't go as you had hoped. So that's stuff I still struggle with every day. I didn't realize, I thought some things were getting better, and then they wind up coming back around. And that just means I need to do a little bit more soul searching to figure out how to get through them. I need to try some other tactics or some other ways to think of them and to work through them. But in the meantime, I want to continue forward and marry the love of my life and build a new family for myself. And I'm very, very excited about those things. So I just wanted to clear it up a little bit too for anybody who was a little confused on what that meant exactly. So there's so many things wrapped around a divorce to be thinking about, or to be angry or disappointed or upset about, and not necessarily missing the person or the love of that relationship. That I could understand, maybe wanting to work through before moving forward. But of course, to each their own, however they choose. And for me, it's I think it's more of the surrounding things. It's definitely not the person. So anyways, I hope everybody has a fabulous day. I very, very much appreciate everybody who took the time to write some really great, positive, inspirational, motivating things in the comments and or reached out to me. You have no idea how much that means to me to put myself out there like that and kind of feel, you know, embarrassed and or You know, you sometimes just wonder what someone's going to take away from that, and to see that that what they took away from it was exactly what I had hoped makes me feel good. It makes me want to keep talking about it and keep sharing, in hopes that other people can benefit from what I'm going through too. So I appreciate that, and I appreciate you. So I'm off to make grilled cheese and soup, because gourmet. I will talk to you all later. Have a fabulous day. Bye.